William Shakespeare, regarded as the foremost dramatist of his time. The word disgrace means loss of reputation or loss of respect. Alliteration means the same sounds are used. Alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sounds in the same line in quick succession. Hello everyone, this is Shobita S. Aradhya, lecturer, Department of English, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. A warm welcome to you all. Today we will be discussing about a sonnet by William Shakespeare. Do you know what are sonnets? Sonnets are 14-line poems, and Shakespeare has created his own style of sonnets. His poems or sonnets are of 14 lines as the other sonnets, but the difference is 12 lines are a group, they are grouped into quadrants, and the last two lines which are called as couplets, they conclude the whole poem. All the 12 lines will be concluded in these two lines or the couplet at the end. This is the style of Shakespeare. So it is called the Shakespearean sonnet. And also Shakespeare has written 154 sonnet. In that, today we will be discussing his 29th sonnet. This is also called as Sonnet 29 or the poem When in Disgrace. So after all this information, let us go with the sonnet When in Disgrace by William Shakespeare. So the poem When in Disgrace. This is also called as Sonnet 29 because this is the 29th sonnet in that collection. As usual, we will discuss about the poet, the title of the poem, theme of the poem, and we'll go line by line of this sonnet and then poetic devices, and finally we'll conclude the poem. Let us start with the poet. You all know who is William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare, regarded as the foremost dramatist of his time. Definitely, he is the greatest dramatist playwright even today. So, we compare if somebody writes well or if somebody's play is that good, we compare that to Shakespearean drama, correct? So, he is considered as the foremost dramatist of his time, and he wrote more than 30 plays, and I told you 154 sonnets in his style, which was called as the Shakespearean style of sonnet. So, about Shakespeare, whatever we tell will be less, but today, instead of telling more about Shakespeare, I'll directly go to the poem. The title, why has he named it as When in Disgrace? So, it starts with a question word when. Okay, here he goes on telling the fortunes which he missed or the grievances he has. He compares himself with the people who has something. So, what are those something? We'll discuss when we start discussing a poem. But now, the speaker is not simply in disgrace, nor does he simply have bad fortune. See the difference here. He is not simply in disgrace. What is disgrace? The word disgrace means loss of reputation or loss of respect. So here he is not simply has lost his respect or reputation or had a bad fortune. But what happened here? Rather, he is in disgrace with fortune. So he is not happy with the fortune what he has. He is comparing himself with the others. So this gives a fortune measure of power over his life, the power to give and then withdraw grace. So what is telling? The fortune has given and then has withdrawn from his life. So that he has written in this sonnet. Theme. The major themes of this sonnet, Sonnet 29, are anxiety, love and jealousy. This is anxiety, love and jealousy, or what we call envy. The poet discusses his miserable plight and impact of life. Impact of love on life. So, he tells about his miserable plight, his life, how it has become miserable. So why it is not like the other people? What is the difference between other people and his life? That all those he has written in this. The poem also explains how love brings optimism and hope for people who feel lonely and oppressed. So, how love brings optimism. What is optimism? Thinking positive is optimism, right? So, here in this poem, he explains how love brings that optimism in somebody's life and also hope for people who feel lonely and oppressed. Those who are feeling lonely and those who are oppressed, what happens to them when love comes in their life? Okay, so they start feeling positive or they become optimistic. In short, Sonnet 29 is also about self-motivation. What is this Sonnet 29 all about? It is about self-motivation. So, I told you the form of sonnet. Sonnet is a form of poems that consists of 14 lines. So, all the sonnets will be only of 14 lines. The Shakespearean sonnets are in the rhyme scheme of A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F and G, G. So, 4 lines are called as quatrains. Quatrains means 4 lines in the poem. So, these 4 lines, the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B and then C, D, then E, F and the couplet. The last 2 lines are called as couplet. They are with different rhyme scheme. So, this is the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet. I told you the difference between the Shakespearean sonnet and the other sonnet. In the other sonnets, the lines in the poem are different. They are divided as 8 and 6 lines. They don't have the couplet at the end. It is 8 plus 6 lines, totally 14 lines. But Shakespearean sonnets will be of 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. So, 12 plus 2. And the rhyme scheme here is A, B, C, D, E, F and G, G. This is about the form of sonnet. Next, we'll directly go to the poem. The poem starts with the question word when. Why has he started this with the question when? The sonnet here starts with the word when because here he is expressing his disgrace, he is expressing his fortune which is not what he wished. It is different from other people. So, he is comparing his life with others. So, it starts with when. When in disgrace. Disgrace means loss of reputation or respect. When in disgrace with fortune. With whom has he lost the respect? With the fortune. And men's eyes. Men's eyes means the society, the other people. Okay. So, when in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes. When I have lost the respect or reputation from the fortune or the other people, the men in the society. I all alone beweep my outcast state. Beweep means here to cry. To cry. He all alone cries for the outcast state. Outcast means where he is separate. He is distinguished from other people. So, there he cries for his fate. Whatever fortune he has got, he is crying for that. I all alone beweep. I all alone cry to see my fortune. And trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries. Here bootless cries means worthless. Bootless means worthless. He is worthless. When do you feel worthless? When you are not to the level of other people around you. That time you feel you are worthless. Correct? So here the poet, he writes, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries. So, he is telling his cries are worthless, they are bootless because he is telling, he is praying the God and the God is not listening to his problems. The God has not listened to his prayers. So, the poet writes here, and trouble deaf heaven. Deaf heaven here means the God. The God is not listening to my prayers. I am praying, but the God is not listening to my prayers. And look upon myself and curse my fate. So what he does, he sits back and he curses his own life. He is not happy with his life, so he is cursing his own life, his own fate for what he has got. Wishing me like to one more rich in hope. So what is he doing here? He is wishing himself, if I would have been like the other, or if my life would have been like the other's prospects, it would be nice. He is wishing me like to one more rich in hope. If I would be one among those rich people, rich in many ways, rich in love, rich in money, rich in the status in the society, all. Okay, so he is telling, wishing me like to one more rich in hope. If I would have been one among those rich people, or one enjoying the prospects of life like the other people are enjoying. Featured like him with friends possessed. Featured with more friends, like the person who is having more friends or influential people, political influence or money influence or any kind of influence. I am not having people like the others have who are influential. So he is again cursing here his fate. Featured like him means like the other person with friends possessed, who are influential person. I don't have friends who are influential. Here influence can be political, money matter or anything, but he wants some people who can influence his life or influence for him, somebody who is influential. Desiring this man's art and that man's scope. So what is he asking for? He is asking, he has the desire to get this man's skill and that man's scope. Oh, this person is having that skill, I don't have that. This person is having that scope, I don't have that. He is desiring for those. He is asking from, means he is praying the God to give something from the skilled person and something from the other person. So he wants from others. What others have, he is not having. So he is praying the God to get it from them or do it equally. With what I most enjoy, contented least. Means which I can enjoy. At least you would have given me that. You have not given me anything of such. So he is asking the God, you would have given me at least that. Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising. Despising here means the feeling of contempt, means which is not complete. So feeling of contempt. He says, yet in these thoughts myself almost despising, means whatever I have got now, I am not happy with that. It is not satisfying to me. I want something else, yet more I need. Haply I think on thee and then my state. So here haply means by any chance. If by any chance I think on thee, on your and then my state. By chance God would have given me this better state than what I have now. So here thee means your means God here. Haply means by any chance. By any chance, if God would have given me something, what he has given to the other people. By any chance, if he would have given better fate than what I have now, I would be bit happy than suffering like this, than comparing to other people and mourning like this. Like to the lark at break of day arising. What is a lark? It is a bird, songbird which sings. A very small bird but beautifully singing bird, that is lark. Like to the lark at break of day arising. So he is telling, I would be happy like the bird which sings, flies from ground to the sky and sings happily. I would have been happy like that. From sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. So how is the bird singing? From the ground, from the sullen earth, from the bad-tempered place to the sky. It is flying and it is singing to the pearly gate. So where it can be happy, where its gates for heaven are opened. So it is flying and singing its song. I wish to be like that. I did not get that chance. If by any chance if I get that, I would be like the lark, the bird, the singing bird which flies from the ground to the sky and sings its song. So here the poet tries to tell that he wants to be like the bird also. Okay. Then these are the last two lines, the couplets. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. See, these two, they rhyme. Here it is different. Least, state, despising, arising, state and gate. Okay. So the rhyming scheme differs here, and the last couplet, they have same rhyming scheme. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings. So here means he is trying to tell that thinking about you, your love brings me so much of happiness in life that I scorn to change my state with kings. Means I can leave thinking about, I can drop thinking about being like a king. If I get your love, I'll be very much satisfied. I'll not even greed for the place of or the position of a king. So he is wanting, means he wants love now. So the whole poem, it is about the anxiety, the love and the grievances he has. Okay. He is comparing his fate with the others who have better fortune for them. So this is all the comparison between the poet and the other people in the society. So this is about the sonnet 29. Now let us discuss some of the poetic devices. Poetic devices means the literary devices used here. Some of the figures of speech are used that we are going to discuss. Assonance. Assonance means the sound of the vowel is repeated. It is used again and again. Which are those? See, assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in the same line, such as the sound of I, short I in the line wishing, wishing me like to one more rich in hope. So this same sound is repeated. The short I sound is repeated. The vowel sound is repeated again and again in the line wishing me like to one more rich in hope. Then the sound of E, short E. Haply I think on thee and then my state. So here haply, then state, all here it is the short sound of E. It is repeated. That is known as assonance. Then imagery. What is imagery? Imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving their five senses. Five senses means listening, speaking and smelling, touching, okay, the taste. All the five senses are involved of a reader when they read the poem. So that is used here in these lines. I all alone beweep my outcast state. So he is crying. Here we do the use the sense of listening, and also we feel that beweep, and that then I scorn to change my state with kings. So with the king I am ready to change my state. If king is offering me his place, I don't want that if I get your love. Okay. Here the imagery is used. Next we'll see the consonants. Consonants means the consonant sound will be repeated. Which is that? See, consonants is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line, such as the sound of yes. The sound of yes is used here. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising. The sound yes is repeated. Okay. See, yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising. The yes sound is repeated in this line many times. That is known as consonants. The sound of consonant is repeated. Which consonant is repeated? Yes. The sound of yes is repeated in these lines. Then personification. Personification means is to attribute human characteristics to non-human or lifeless objects, where the objects which doesn't have life is compared to humans, okay, or humans are compared to lifeless. So that is known as personification. We feel like we have given life to the non-living object. Okay, that kind of usage is known as personification. Where has he used that personification in the poem? For example, from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. Sullen earth means the earth with bad temper. So bad-tempered earth or the sulky earth sings. We do not consider earth as the living object. So he is giving life as if the earth is singing hymns to go to the heaven's gate. So this is known as personification, giving life to non-living object. Then symbolism. Symbolism is used symbols to signify ideas and qualities, giving them symbolic meanings different from literal meanings. So symbolically we tell something, it won't be the same meaning, literal meaning won't be there. Symbolically we use the words. Okay, so such usage is done in this sonnet, and that is lark. Lark stands for hope and good fortune. Here bird, lark stands for good fortune or hope. Lark only doesn't mean the bird in the poem here. It also means that like a bird, if he wants to fly, he has to have better fortune. He has to have hope for life. Only then he can do all those. So it is the symbolism used here. Then alliteration. Alliteration means the same sounds are used. Alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sounds in the same line in quick succession. So very next line, same sounds will be coming. That is known as alliteration. So here the sound of th, the is used. Happily, I think, and thee, and then my state. Okay, so soon, very soon, quickly, in quick succession, the sound of th, the is used, where thee and then words come with that sound. Then enjambment. Enjambment means it is defined as a thought in verse that does not come to an end at a line break. Instead, it continues to the next line. The thought of the poet, it does not end at the same line. It continues for the next line also. Somewhere in between, the thought or his feelings will be expressed till the next line, middle. It can stop in the beginning, middle, or at the end. That kind of lines used in the poem are called as enjambment. Example for that: for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. So here the idea do not stop at the end of the line. It continues to the next line also. This is known as enjambment. This is about the poetic devices used in the poem. So you can see so many poetic devices: enjambment, alliteration, then we saw symbolism, personification, consonants, and also imagery, assonance. All these are the poetic devices used in the poem Sonnet 29 or When in Disgrace. So let me read out all the poetic devices used here: the assonance, imagery, consonants, personification, symbolism, and alliteration, enjambment. All these are the poetic devices used. They are also called as figures of speech. So these figures of speech or the poetic devices are used more in poem than in prose. So this is all about Sonnet 29 or the poem by William Shakespeare, When in Disgrace. So here he is comparing his fortune, his grievances, his life with the others who have good fortune. Okay, so this is all. The whole poem is the comparison of the poet or the speaker and the other people in the society. Then to conclude, the final lines of When in Disgrace with Fortune and Men's Eyes summarize the previous 12. As I told you, in the Shakespearean sonnets, the last two lines, the couplets, will conclude whatever is there. So he is comparing, correct? So if he tells, if he gets love, he can give away the place of the king, or he would not think of getting the place of or position of the king. They state very clearly that the fair youth's love is the only thing that brings the speaker happiness. So what brings him happiness? Only the youth's love will get him happiness. Nothing else can bring the happiness to the speaker. He feels wealthy in these moments, richer than kings. So what he feels? If he is getting the love, the youth's love, he feels he is richer than the king. There is no one he would rather trade places with. So if he gets love, he will not have any grievances. He will not compare himself to anybody. What he needs is only love in life. So this is the conclusion for the Sonnet 29. So we discussed about Shakespearean Sonnet 29 or When in Disgrace, and we learnt what the thoughts are, what are the poetic devices, everything. Hope you understood the difference between Shakespearean sonnets and the other sonnets, the rhyme scheme, and also the thought process of the poet here. That's all for today. We'll meet you in the next session with few more information and poems. Thank you. Till then, bye.